Are you ready to talk some hockey? Get your opinions ready, get set, and welcome your host, Samwelb. Hey, what's up, everybody? Great to see you. Happy Canada Day. Hope you're wearing your Canada Reds. We got it on. We got it going on. Welcome to episode 1 of Even Strength for the 24-25 season. That's right. We are now putting to bed 23-24. We are moving to 24-25. What's going on, everybody? We got to give a huge shout out and creative thank you to the man who came up with the name Even Strength, our good friend and partner, Dave, the Bear Shark, over on the Florida Park Explorers. What's going on, Dave? Even Strength has been resurrected. It is brought back, and we are kicking it off today. You may see Dave and other friends showing up here on the show throughout the season as we have some fun. But what's going on, Duke? Welcome in, AU Triton, Theo, Sam Eagle, Gerard. What's going on, Phil? What's up, Floyd? Hello there. Of course, Dave. Good to see you. Void, hello there. Mark, long time indeed. How are you? James, what's going on? Welcome in. Saul, welcome in. Fishbone, one and all. Thank you for being here. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Now, I'm going to have to jump through this. We're going to have to go through this fairly quickly because we have a lot to cover. But this is what's going on this show. Jared, what's going on? So I know everybody wants to talk about their teams and wants to talk about the signings and wants to jump all over the place. So this is how it's going to go for today. We're going to go through all the trades. I know there's some little guys, and sorry, they're not little, some smaller signings, and we're probably going to jump over some of those because there's a lot. If you didn't hear, today was the biggest free agent day one of all time. Over $1 billion of money signed away in contract signings. It's crazy. Onyx, what's going on? Welcome in. Curtis, welcome in. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to run through all the signings, or most of them. We're going to go through some of the trades, and then I'm going to invite you, if you want, it's kind of a new feature here on Even Strength. We're going to drop a link in. We're going to allow you to join us with the audio only, kind of like a radio call-in show. If you want to join us to share your opinions about your teams, your players, we are absolutely going to do that, and we'll get that going. Of course, all we ask is that you're respectful, you're over the age of 19, and of course, keep the language. Okay, now, welcome in. We're going to get going. Daniel, how's it going? Welcome in. So yes, happy Canada Day to one and all. Thank you for joining us here on a terrific day. I hope you have all had a fantastic day. It has been great here. Jade, how's it going? Thank you so much. That's right, the Florida Panthers. Got to give a little nod. Whoop, no, it's this way. A little nod to Barkov over here. The Florida Panthers winning that cup. And we're going to talk about that and some of the repercussions coming from that. So let's not waste another moment because there's a lot to get through, and I want to get to your opinions. So do me a favor. As we're going through the moves, you can absolutely say great move, bad move, but let's not jump ahead and say, oh, this guy signed or this guy signed. We're going to try and go in order to keep a little bit of structure, a little bit of structure. All right, so first, before we even get into it, there were a lot of trades leading up to today. A lot of them were draft picks from the draft, and we are going to talk about the draft at some point, but probably not today. So a couple of key trades leading up to today. The Washington Capitals picking up Mangiapane from Calgary. That was a huge trade. That went down. The Blues picking up Texier was a nice little pickup. And we got all these flip-floppings. Connor Geekie going over to the Tampa Bay Lightning. That was a huge pickup. And Mikhail Sergachev going back over to Utah. That was huge. GG, what's going on? Dallas, what is up? Tanner Jeannot also heading to LA. Tampa Bay cleared out a bunch of cap space, and we'll find out why momentarily. Kevin Hayes was sent over to the Pittsburgh Penguins, a nice pickup. Logan Thompson, he was sent to the Washington Capitals. So a nice pickup, them picking up a goaltender. We had a couple other, of course, the rights to Chris Tanev were traded to Toronto. We obviously know what happened there. The rights to Jake Gunsel traded to Tampa Bay. We're going to get into that. Now, some of the moves today, Jacob Chychrun heading over to Washington. Washington making a big splash. Some big moves leading up to this. Joey, what's going on? Welcome in. Then so those were all the big trades. And of course, the last one, actually, Riley Smith getting picked up by the New York Rangers. So those were most of the trades that we're getting there. Yeah, guys, we're going to talk about that. We're going to go in order. So let's not jump ahead. Andy, how's it going? Utah does sound weird. It sounds very weird. Good night, Munchie. Welcome in. All right, let's get into these trades because there was a whole lot. So here we go. We're going to start it off here, beginning of the day with, San Jose, a couple of moves, Kunin, Bailey, and then the big one, Leaf fans, the big one, we knew it, Max Domi. This came out, and Max Domi, boy, did he post the greatest Twitter clip of all time. He took the video clip from, oh my gosh, now I can't think of the movie, with Leonardo DiCaprio in the stock markets. Man, it's on the tip of my tongue. You know what I'm talking about. He put his face on Leonardo DiCaprio's face, and he's like, I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. Blah. It was great. It was fantastic. It was awesome. So great to see Max Domi coming in. 4 years, great length, 3.75. I love this signing. Wolf of Wall Street. Thank you, Gerard. It was on the tip of my tongue. Chris, how's it going? Thank you, Onyx. So with this Max Domi signing, I was saying all along, I want Domi over Bertuzzi. I don't want Bertuzzi here. And obviously, Toronto didn't re-sign Bertuzzi. They signed Domi. I love this deal. A lot of people were saying, what a bust. Why would they sign Domi 4 years? Yes, the first half of the season wasn't great for Max. But look what happened when little Mitchie went out, right? All of a sudden, Max goes up. He goes to play with Austin Matthews. Matthews gets hot again. Domi was unbelievable down the stretch. I loved him on this first line. We're going to look at the Leaf roster in a little bit, but I hope Max continues that hot play. JDA, what's going on? Welcome in. All right, as we go on, as we move from Max Domi, we got a couple other signings here. Woo, Timothy Liljegren, he signs 2 years, $3 million a hit. So this one, I will tell you, Leaf fans, when I first saw this come across the wire, I was not happy. I don't mind Liljegren at all. In fact, I thought Liljegren had an okay season. He's continuing to build and develop. My problem is, I think 3 years is a little much. What was he, $975 last year? Like, he was making very little money. Yes, he deserved a raise, but I thought $3 million was a little much. I have a sneaking suspicion this is one of those moves that, hey, let's sign him, and then we'll have an opportunity to move him. So Tree Living did come out and say he's not done yet. He still has some things he's working on. I'm curious if Liljegren will be moving on or if he'll be in Toronto to start the season. But listen, it's a good signing. We needed defense at the time. They got it done. Jersey goes to Utah. Utah has been very, very busy. This is a great pickup for Utah, setting their D side 4 years at $6 million per. Nice little sign up here for Utah. In a surprise move, Patrick Kane re-signs in Detroit. Kane was rumored to go everywhere under the sun, but he elects to stay one more year with the Red Wings. So congrats, Red Wings fans. This is a nice pickup for you. Can you get it done with Patrick Kane? My Florida Panthers making a huge splash. We didn't know what was going to happen with Sammy Reinhart. Sam Reinhart, he signs at the 11th hour. It was literally like, it was almost midnight. It was really close to the wire. I don't know what time it was. I'm trying to make it dramatic. Sam Reinhart, though, stays 8 years, $8.63 million in Florida. This was huge for the Panthers. Now, here's the funny thing. Reinhart, what do you have, like 57 goals last year? Something crazy? Reinhart was a beast. He signs for 8.63. William Nylander had 40 goals, but he signs for like 11 and a half. So this is a huge deal, but you have to look at it objectively. There's no income tax in Florida, so that 8.6 elsewhere may be equivalent to 11 million, but because of the different tax laws, he takes a little bit less because he's getting more of that money. But a huge deal for Sam Reinhart and a huge deal for the Florida Panthers. I love this one. Jeff, what's going on? Welcome in. Good to see you. Jake Gunsel coming in. Another huge deal. And of course, another still in Florida. He signed 7 years, $9 million. So there's some drama around this signing. You know, we all know Tampa Bay came out and said, hey, Steven Stamkos, we'd love to sign you. We'll sign you 8 years, but you're only getting $3 million. Steven Stamkos, 40 goal scorer last year, says, you're going to give me $3 million? I don't think so. He declines the offer. All of a sudden, Tampa starts making those moves. Sergachev going out, Jeannot going out. And I started thinking, wow, Tampa, they tried. Stamkos kind of called their bluff and said no. Now they're moving out all this money. They're going to re-sign Stammer. No, they move out the money so they could sign Guentzel, $9 million over 7 years. Huge signing. Tampa Bay is going to be solid. Prep, what's going on? Welcome in. Good to see you. The reason I'm excited is because no team with a player signed for over $10 million has ever won a cup. That's funny. Is that true? That's crazy. Connor Brown, he goes 1 year back to Edmonton. Again, not a great year for Connor Brown last year, but he was impactful during those playoffs, so he remains in Edmonton. Florida keeps Kulikov. They lock him up 4 years at 1.15. I love this signing as a Panther. Kulikov, again, didn't play a ton of minutes in the playoffs, but was instrumental. He was a big, big, big part of what they did. So a great signing there for the Panthers again. We're going to go through some of these smaller picks. Again, no disrespect, Ethan Frank and Mitchell Gibson, but they're heading to Washington with Priskel. And then Joe Wall, we know this was getting locked up. Joseph Wall, there was talk about it before. They get him 3 years at 3.66. I'm fine with this deal. Joseph Wall has shown that he has some great skill and he's continuing to build as a good tender. And then the big one, the major signing, Chris Tanev. They traded his rights, 6 year, $4.5 million. This is a nice signing. It's a little lengthy on the term, right? He's 34. This essentially takes him till he's 40 years old. I think the Leafs are kind of banking that in the last couple of years, could there be some injury? Could they go on long-term IR? Could they do something? He is a physical, hard-hitting player. I'm just speculating. But 6 year, a long-term, 4.5, I'm fine with this. I was originally hearing it would be like 5 million, 6 million, and I'm like, no way, that's too much. Victoria, what's going on? Welcome in. But I think this is all right. 6 years, a little lengthy at 4.5, but Tanev, a big physical presence, and I think this is a nice pickup that's going to pay dividends. This is much better than the John Klingberg signing of last year. But I like Tanev. It's a good thing. We know Tree Living wanted to get him. He's been working on this for a while, so Tanev is a Maple Leaf. As we scroll through a couple others here, Connor McMichael, he stays in Washington. That's a nice pickup. The Blackhawks, a couple moves. Teuvo Teravainen, 3 years at 5.4. Nice little pickup. And Tyler Bertuzzi signs in Chicago, 4 years, 5.5. Chicago, hope he does okay with you. Not worth it. State of Survivor says Wall's contract is too much, way too much for a mostly unproven goalie. So I don't think it's way too much. I think Wall has shown that he is special. Before he got injured, right? Before he got injured last season, Joseph Wall was unbelievable. He struggled when he came back, and when he stepped into that playoff series, he essentially got Toronto to that Game 7. And I think there's a little bit of a reward in here for him doing that. So I'm okay with that deal. Tyler Bertuzzi, however, him coming in, not worth 5.5, not worth 5. I was extremely disappointed with Tyler Bertuzzi last year. Everybody said to me, Sam, Bertuzzi, he's a playoff performer. Give him a break. So we cut him some slack. He had about a month period in the second half of the year where he actually played really well. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to have to eat some crow here. He's looking good. But Tyler Bertuzzi couldn't cut it in the playoffs. Muffin Man coming with the $9.99. Preds bulked up. Yes, indeed, Muffin Man. We're going to get to that shortly. But thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Muffin Man with the $9.99. Thank you. Let's get some hype in there. There come the hockey sticks, the stick taps for the Muffin Man. But Tyler Bertuzzi, as I was saying, see you later. Have some fun with Connor Bedard. Chicago actually is going to be a much better team this year than they were last year. Toronto then coming up, they pick up OEL Oliver Ekman-Larsson, 4 years, 3.5. Ekman-Larsson just coming off that Stanley Cup win. And I tell you, there is serious hate right now on Twitter and social media all over the place about this signing. Road Warriors, what's going on? Welcome in. I don't know why people are so mad that Tree Living went and signed Ekman-Larsson. I like Ekman-Larsson a lot. I think this is a great pick. And if you watch the playoffs, Ekman-Larsson played another critical role for the Florida Panthers, and he did a lot of good things. Yes, there were some things that were but he did a lot of good things, and I like his style of play, and he's going to fit in real nice on that squad. We're going to break down the Leaf squad in a few minutes, but Ekman-Larsson, he joins the Maple Leaf team. And another major signing, Lindholm, he comes in. Boston needed a centerman. They got to get someone in there. And here comes Elias Lindholm, 7 years, 7.75 mil. Huge signing for the Bruins. And this is an absolute doozy. Now, they also bring in Big Z, Nikita Zadorov. Now, this was one that the Maple Leafs apparently were supposed to be in on. 6 years at $5 million. That $5 million is essentially TJ Brody's salary, but the Leafs couldn't get it done. Zadorov ends up going to Boston. So two huge pickups for the Bruins, and this is going to make Boston real tough, and they're going to be awesome to look at. I'd rather have Burt for 5 than Liljegren for 3. I wouldn't have Burt for 5. I think it's way too much for what he did. But I agree. I think what they paid Liljegren is a little too much. Slavin goes over, signs back with the Hurricanes, and then another signing for the Maple Leafs, the goaltender. Everybody thought Brisebois was going to be who the Leafs went after. Brisebois was the name we were hearing, but they go and they pick up Anthony Stolarz again. The Florida Panther backup, 2 years at 2.5. Stolarz, if you've watched him play, he has so much potential. I think him and Wall are going to push each other. Now, I was not a fan of Brisebois and Wall as a tandem, but I like Stolarz coming in. JDA with the $13.99. Thank you, brother. Sam, for what you do. It's truly appreciated. Jordan, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, my friend. Big super chat hype for JDA. There come those sticks. Skylar, rookie, welcome in. Welcome to the show. But JDA, thank you, my friend, for both you and the Muffin Man. But yeah, Stolarz, him and Wall are going to push each other and push each other hard. I think it's going to be a great, and I really hope they are going to play them in a little bit of a tandem. But I have a feeling come late in the year, Stolarz could be the guy you're seeing getting more of that ice time. Then the Nashville Predators said, oh, sorry, we were a little bit late. We had to sleep in. Jonathan Marchessault, he is the first major signing, followed up right away by Steven Stamkos. Now, Stamkos, this caught me off guard. I had no inkling that Stamkos was going to Nashville. You started to hear the rumblings, and I thought, what? There's no way. But yep, Stamkos goes 4 years, $8 million. So he says, yeah, Tampa, you can take your 3 and up your pie hole. But he goes $8 million a year. Good on Stammer, 4 years, and Marchessault 5 years at 5.5. Now, Marchessault actually called Stamkos before he signed. He said, yo, Steve, I'm hearing that you might be going to Nashville. Is that the case? Because I'm kind of thinking I might be doing the same. Now, apparently, Trotz wasn't sure which he was going to get. So when he wasn't sure about Stammer, he had reached out to Marchessault. Marchessault, Stammer, they talk. Stammer says, I'm going. And of course, Marchessault then follows suit. The Preds just got insanely better, but they were not done there yet. Brady Shea, moments after, the defenseman, 7 years, $7 million. These 3 players alone have now fired that Nashville team on a rocket. On a rocket. Saros in net, Forsberg. Man, these guys are going to be so good. Nashville is going to be a team to watch next year. Sharnkovich, he signs in the Calgary, and there's Brisebois. Brisebois signs in with the Blackhawks. Blackhawks, they needed some goaltending. Again, I'm not concerned. I'm not, what do I want to say? I'm not sold on the idea that Peter Mrazek is going to be a number 1 goaltender for Chicago. I think Brisebois is going to get a lot more playing time there. Kasperi Kapanen, he signs in St. Louis. Perron going over to Ottawa. Ottawa trying to improve. They give 2 years at $4 million to Perron. Victor Arvidsson, he ends up going to the Edmonton Oilers for $4 million over a couple of years. Brandon Montour, this was a massive signing, a big loss. I was hoping he was going to stay in Florida. If he couldn't stay in Florida, I was like, man, this would be a great pickup for the Leafs. But he was just too expensive for Montour. $7.14 million over 7 years, and I think that's why you see the higher cap space. Is Shea a $7 million player? My inkling is today he's just under. But when you look at this long term over the course of 7 years, I think that's where you're going to see him fitting in. So towards the end of that 7 years, would he be worth more than 7? I think so. But on average, it probably weighs out to be okay. That's kind of where I'm thinking. And the same with Montour, right? Montour, I don't think he's a $7 million guy either. But when you're talking 7 years and Seattle's looking to improve, you bring in that Stanley Cup experience, I think that's why he was able to get a little bit more. Matt Waugh, he signed. Roy signs. Washington picking up a lot of players. Brett, what's going on? Mini hockey, what's going on? Welcome in. Roy going to the Caps, 5.75 over 6 years is a decent signing. Listen, Washington's trying to do whatever they can do to make a big splash. I think Washington found themselves a little embarrassed last year, to be honest. So they're trying to go in and make some big improvements. Noah Gregor, he's going to finally get some playing time. He goes over to the Ottawa Senators. He signs a 1-year, $850,000 contract. Good for him. He wasn't going to get any more playing time. We saw him used sparingly here in Toronto. He did have some potential, but just no real room for him to play. The Columbus Blue Jackets, who have been struggling like crazy, they are looking to get better. They signed centerman Sean Monahan 5 years at 5.5. That's a good signing for them. He's not going to be the one to turn it around, but he will help them continue to build and develop. The Go Leafs go. Morgan, what's going on? Welcome in, coming in with the Go Leafs go. And talking about those Leafs, they did it again. And this one, I don't understand. Matt Murray, they give him a 1-year deal at $875. Matt Murray, who was injured all of last year, he came in, did play a couple of games at the end of the season for the Marlies. They give him a 1-year deal. Personally, I would have rather them keep Marty Jones. Let Marty Jones be your third goaltender. But hey, they're giving it to Matt Murray, a 1-year, $875. And I don't know why that move kind of baffles my mind, but I'm sure there's some thought behind it. And then this next one hurts. Jake DeBrusk. I thought for sure Jake DeBrusk was coming to Toronto. We talked about this over the last couple of streams, how much there was mutual interest between both clubs, right? Between Toronto and Jake DeBrusk, how there was some potential of him coming in to the Maple Leaf organization, but it's not meant to be. He is from Western Canada. He's going to Vancouver, 7 years, $5 million. And I think this is a phenomenal deal for the Canucks. The Canucks, what they did is they shed a lot of some of their speed, and they got a lot tougher. But I like Jake DeBrusk, and I know I gave Boston fans a hard time during the playoffs about Brusky, but boy, oh boy, this is a good pickup for Vancouver. Yeah, what? Right, Brian? How you doing, Brian? I don't understand that Matt Murray pick at all. The Canucks picking up Sherwood. Utah picking up Stenlin. Again, Stenlin, that's a loss for the Panthers. Stenlin did a great job in the bottom six there, grinding it out. Really a fourth-line role. He's going to be a nice addition to Utah. Utah, over the course of the draft and this free agent day, got so much better than Arizona was. And they did it in like 2 days. So I can't believe Utah is saying, we're not here to mess around. We're going to improve this club. And they're doing that. Danton Heinen, Vancouver also signed. Cam Talbot goes to Detroit, 2 years at 2.5. So there's a Talbot signing there. I personally haven't been a fan of Talbot, but listen, he can still play. Jonathan Drouin, he signs for 1 year in Colorado. Still waiting on the stats there. Tyson Joe signs in Carolina. Thomas Nosek, he ends up going to Florida. He's picking up 1 year at $775 there. Forbert going to Vancouver. That's a nice little pickup for the Canucks. Michael Amadio, he's going to flip over to Ottawa, 3 years at 2.6. Amadio, a little pickup. This is another guy I was kind of hoping the Leafs might get on. Warren Fogle, 3 years, 3.5. Love Fogle. Fogle is great. Alexander, what's going on? Welcome in. I'm a big fan of Fogle. I thought, he wasn't as impactful this year for the Oilers, but he was in the last few games when the Oilers were coming back. Fogle was present and he was playing well. So nice pickup here for the LA Kings. I wish we had a chance at landing him. Mac Hollowell, he's going to end up with the Penguins. Ian Cole to Utah. Grzelcyk to the Penguins. Joey Anderson to the Blackhawks. William Lagesson. Remember William Lagesson? He gets picked up here by the Detroit Red Wings. Actually liked Laggy a lot. I thought he had some good potential. So nice pickup there by the Wings. Zach Aston Reese has bounced around. He's now going to go over to Vegas. A lot of these are depth moves. And then we get Chandler Stevenson. Again, another guy that was rumored to come to a few Canadian teams. Ends up going to the Kraken. 6.25 mils, 7 years. Nice pickup. Definitely going to help out that Seattle team. Boston getting in on Max Jones, Sam Steele going over to Dallas, Hathaway in Philly, Matt Dumba signs in Dallas. And I know we had a Discord conversation going on between a couple of us earlier today, and I thought, hey, the Leafs might be in on a Matt Dumba move. We know they had been on Matt Dumba before, but boy, did Matt Dumba pick himself up a nice little raise. 2 years, 5.5. Leafs would have been about 3.5. So Dumba follows the money. He's going to go to Dallas. Dallas had some defensive holes to fill, so they had to make that move. Kraken will probably make the playoffs. Mini hockey, it's going to be interesting to see because Nashville's going to be in there as well. And there's only so many teams that could get in. So there's definitely going to be a fight in both conferences to get into those playoffs. Grinch, what's going on? Welcome in. Good to see you. Again, if you are just coming in, make sure you're tapping that thumbs up button. I haven't said it at all today because we jumped right in to go through these picks, but smash that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe as well. All right, let's keep going. Ryan Lomberg, this one, Florida loses him. He was in and out of the lineup. Flames pick him up. A nice, gritty kind of third or fourth liner. We'll see how they end up playing him. 2 years at $2 million. That's $2 million. It might be a little much for Lomberg, but hey, that's a nice little pickup for the Flames. Comrie to the Jets. Panthers with Aspelot. Josh Brown to the Oilers. Jason Zucker going to the Sabres. Sabres have all kinds of money. They have like $20 million in cap space or something crazy, and they haven't really signed anybody. So I don't know what's going on in Buffalo, but I expected them to be in a lot more of these deals. They did pick up Sam Lafferty. Again, not a major impact player, but he will do nice. He will play a little gritty. So Laffy, we're going to see him back over here in the Eastern Conference, which I'm happy about. He's a nice player. They pick up Abi Kubel. Again, look at this. They're spending peanuts, right? 1.5, 2 million, 5 million here for Zucker. You got money, Buffalo. Why aren't you going for any of these big players? Mike Riley signs with the Islanders. Bryson signs in Buffalo. Okay, now we're getting some Buffalo picks. But again, 900, 825. I mean, these are nothing. Trinan, he's going to sign with Minnesota, picking it up with a 3.5 million per. And then this was another nice one. And I was kind of saying in that Discord chat earlier, this is a great player Toronto could steal. Anthony Duclair. He ends up going to the Islanders. 3.5 million over 4 years. Anthony Duclair on the Panthers last year, he was outstanding, a big part of their playoff run. He was on Tampa Bay this year and played really well. Speed, hands, Duclair is the man, and he's going to be a nice little impact player here for the New York Islanders. Doesn't command a lot of money, but he is an absolute solid player. Shea going to the Penguins. Nate Smith, let's get here. Tyler Radish going to the Caps. Again, the Caps continuing to build. Cervanta to the Avs. We're going to keep moving along. Brett Pesce, he's going to the New Jersey Devils. 6 years, 5.5. Again, a nice pickup. New Jersey trying to improve their D. Pesce will do that. So a nice little pickup here. 6 years, so it's going to bring him to he's about 35. So a huge signing. Devil fans, you should be happy with that. I like that pick a lot. And this was the surprise, another surprise, in along the lines of the Matt Murray signing. Jack Campbell, who the Oilers bought out. Now, if you remember the Campbell story, and we're not talking soup, Campbell here couldn't stop a beach ball for the Oilers. He was having some real trouble. They sent him down to the AHL. He struggled there. He couldn't get it done. They end up buying him out. So he got paid. He got his money. He is out. The Detroit Red Wings say, hey, we'll give you a tryout contract. We'll give you 1 year at $775. If you're a superstar, great. Then you'll get paid. If you're not and you're a bust, then it's only $775. It doesn't matter. It was a very sad story about Jack Campbell this past year. Gordon, how's it going? Welcome in. But I'm very happy to see somebody is giving Soupy an opportunity to prove that he can still play in this league. And Detroit's going to be a good team in front of him. So that will be fun to watch. Anthony Mantha, he's going to get picked up by the Calgary Flames. A nice deal here. Sam Carrick to the New York Rangers. Craig Smith and Pat Maroon picked up by the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks trying to turn into the Boston Bruins of several years back. They're getting tougher. They're getting tougher. They need some skill. They don't need to get tough. They need that skill. Duhaime signs in Washington. Washington continuing to grow and get better. Bouvier going to the Pens. Let's see here. Dylan to the Devils. We got Steven Nosen to the Devils. Jordan Martinhook is going to stick around Carolina. AJ Greer to Florida. Corey Perry. Oiler fans, congratulations. You're not going to win the Stanley Cup again next year because you decided to re-sign Corey Perry. The guy has lost 4 Stanley Cup finals with 4 different teams. And, well, hey, maybe the curse will be broken now, right? Because he actually stuck around. He already lost once with the Oilers on a 4th team. Maybe that's all he needed to break that curse. But Corey Perry giving it one more kick at the can in Edmonton. Mini Hockey's is trade him away. Get rid of him. Pizza, what's going on? Welcome in, Pizza. Good to see him. We'll see how long Corey Perry lasts in Edmonton. Niels Lundqvist signs in Dallas. And this was a big one. He wasn't a free agent, but he gets extended. And I don't understand this deal at all. Slafkovsky, 8 years, $7.6 million. The kid had like 2 or 3 goals in the first half of the hockey season. He didn't show up until after Christmas. And he did have a good second half of the year. But $8 million at 7.6? I don't understand that for Slafkovsky. Now, he is still a kid and he should have a bright future. But I think this could be a risky deal. Now, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe next year in 2 years, Slafkovsky is going to look real good. But time will tell. And then the Leafs coming in, Yanni Hakanpää. Now, we've seen this kid play. We saw him in Dallas. He looks good. He looks strong. 2 years, $1.5 million. That's going to round out kind of the Leafs defensive roster. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Alex Wenberg, he goes to the San Jose Sharks. All the ladies in San Jose are loving this one as the snazzy dressed Alex Wenberg. He signs 2 years, $5 million per year. San Jose, all of a sudden, man, they're a good team. They've built a solid team. They're going to look much improved than last year. DeSmith's with Dallas, Capo Kakanainen over with the Jets, Calvin DeHaan with the Avs, Martinez with Chicago. Vinny Desharnais signs with the Canucks. This is interesting. He doesn't get re-signed in Edmonton. He leaves to go next door into Vancouver. So Vancouver picking up Vinny Desharnais. And listen, nice little $2 million, 2 years. I like Desharnais. I'm actually surprised he's moving over. Leaf sign period. No, yeah, right, Onyx. Yeah, don't even put that out in the atmosphere. We don't want a sudden trade to happen. Sean Walker, he's stuck around for a while. He gets picked up by the Hurricanes for 3.6. Fisher going to the Red Wings. UC Saros, this was the big one that I think Saros was kind of waiting to see what the Preds did before he agreed, and he got paid. 8 years, 7.74. Saros, arguably one of the best tenders in the league. And man, Nashville is so good. Nashville, in my opinion, the winners of today, and it wasn't ending there. They re-signed Carrier 3 years at 3.75. That was huge. The LA Kings signed Joel Edmondson 4 years at 3.8. I personally liked Edmondson in Toronto. I wish they would have given him an opportunity. 3.85. I like that deal. I like that deal for sure. Maybe over what they paid Liljegren. Edmondson is a hard-hitting, clear out the front of the net versus Liljegren, who's more of a puck-carrying, puck-moving defense. You know, arguments could be made. They had to make a pick. We'll see what they did. San Jose can't get any worse. That's right. They certainly can't. Matt Duchene, he's going to be in Dallas for 1 more year, $3 million. Connor Carrick, 1-year deal. Let's go through some of these depth players. Sorry, depth people. No disrespect. But Minnesota signing a bunch of these small guys. Scott Wedgwood, Nashville bringing him in as well. Eric Gustafson signing in Detroit. Ilya Lyubushkin. This was one, again, Leaf fans were wondering, why aren't they going to make a play for LaBouche? Well, they took Tanev away from Dallas, so Dallas says, we need a defender, so they go and they pick up Lyubushkin, 3 years at 3.25. Again, argument could be made. Is Lyubushkin better than Liljegren? Why wouldn't they have used the Liljegren money on Lyubushkin? So time will tell. Jeff Skinner. So this is one all the trade folks, the experts were saying Skinner was either coming to Toronto or to Edmonton. Skinner in his entire career has not even made the playoffs. He has not played in a playoff game. So he wanted to go to a contender. He goes to Edmonton. 1 year, $3 million. So nice little pickup for Skinner. Again, we'll see what he can do. The Oil also extends Janmark. They get him locked up for 3 years at 1.45. Again, Janmark, couple shorthanded goals, had some important goals for the Oilers in this playoff run. Hey, look, there's TJ Brodie going to the land of ex-Maple Leafs over following Bertuzzi and Mrazek to the Chicago Blackhawks. Well, Chicago, you were looking good, and then you signed TJ Brodie. 2 years, 3.75. Not the $5 million Toronto is paying him, but hey, maybe TJ will break things up and look a little bit better in Chicago. Zermas Girgensons, he signs in Tampa Bay, another key player here. He'll be well in Tampa Bay. Ilya Samsonov, there's Sammy Samsonov, 1 year in Vegas at 1.8. Those were all the deals kind of up to this point. Now, the one other thing I want to look at. Hello, Charlie. We talked a lot about the Leafs and the Leafs pickings. So, courtesy of Cap Friendly, which, by the way, Cap Friendly is going away. We talked about this previously. Cap Friendly is disappearing. It is here for a couple of more days. Now, we don't know what the actual lines are going to look like, but we were playing around. I'm making the assumption that Easton Cowan is going to actually play in this upcoming season. We don't know what they are actually going to look like, but I'm hoping we see something like Domi with Matthews and either Nylander or Marner on his side, Bobby McMahon with Tavares and the other one, and Matthew Nyes with Cowan and Yarncroke. Then you got Holmberg with David Kempf and Ryan Reeves. So when you look at our forward lines, not much has changed, right? Nothing has really changed here. And this is part of what frustrates me a little bit. We focused on rebuilding our D. We had to rebuild our D, and we did that. But this forward line is roughly the same. And so now I know Tree Living said, hey, I'm not done yet. There's still some possible moves to be made, but I think something has to be done. Now you can move these around. You can flip-flop them around, all right? So maybe we're going to have Nyes on the second line and Bobby McMahon down below. Who knows what it will be. But our forwards, for the most part, are the same minus Bertuzzi. Who is going to fit in and play that role? The defensive side looks real good. Riley and Tanev, again, making the assumption that's going to be the pair. Will they have Ekman Larson and Hakanpää? Will they be together? Will you have Liljegren in there? Or will you keep Benoit and Jake McCabe together? I would like to see Benoit and Jake McCabe play together, but then you've now spent $3 million on Timothy Liljegren, and he's your extra defense. Or is Liljegren going to play, and Hakanpää is going to be the odd man out? Or is Simon Benoit going to be the odd man out? Regardless, however it plays out, this is kind of what we're looking on the D side. And I'm okay with that. Tanev, Ekman Larson, they're going to come in and bolster it. Going to be good. Your goalie side, you got Wall, you got Stolarz, and of course Matt Murray in there. Probably you're going to see Stolarz and Joseph Wall battling it out for the starting position. So this is kind of what I think our Leaf roster is going to look like. Hopefully we get an addition in the forward. Hopefully there's a forward change here coming. So now that we are past July 1st, both John Tavares and Mitch Marner are due for their extensions. We don't know if Marner will stay. Will he be traded? We have no idea. When asked the status of an extension for Mitch Marner, The update was we have no update. So we have no idea if they're looking to move him. If they trade that 11 million or 10 million, 10-9, that could get you a couple of forwards that all of a sudden slot in nicely to this roster. And Pontus Holmberg becomes, the odd man out. Will Mitch Marner be paired up with a Yarncroc or a David Kempf? There's a lot that could happen to this roster. A hockey panel said he's staying. Yeah, Gordon, right now nobody knows, right? I've read over the last week he's staying, he's signing an extension, they're offering him an extension. Then I heard they're definitely not offering him an extension. They're going to ask him to move his no-move clause. Now they're not asking him. They're going to wait till they have a deal. There's so many things out there, and the truth is nobody knows. The only people that know right now is Tree Living and the staff they're working with. So we'll have to see. And Grinch, that's what I'm kind of fearful is he's got a full no move, so he's got to approve everything. And if he decides he wants to stay and play out the year and then up and leave for nothing and Toronto gets hosed, it's the business of giving a full no move, right? The ball really is in Marner's court on what he will do. So time will tell for that. We'll have to wait and see. The Leafs right the ship. Matthews will have one. It's going to be interesting, right? It's going to be interesting for sure. So I wanted to take a look at the Leaf kind of breakdown and go from there. All right, something I'd like to do. Something we'd like to open up. For the first time here, we want your opinions. We want you to join us. If you want to come on stream, audio only, no camera, if you want to come on audio only, and you want to talk about your team, you want to talk about who it is that you want to see make a splash during the events of this trade deadline, shall we? I keep saying trade deadline. It's not trade deadline. If you want to share your opinions on these free agent signings, what you like, what you don't like, we want to hear it. We want you to say it. And let's just get our audio. I'm just setting it up right now. So there we go. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pin a link in the chat. So here's the deal. All we ask is that you are over the age of 18, 19, and you want to join us. You can come in. Again, no language. Please keep the language out of the chat and keep it respectful. And as we get more people in, we are going to move through. So it's like a radio show, right? Like a call-in radio show. We'll drop it in and you get to decide. So I'm going to put this in the chat. We'll talk about your favorite teams. I'm going to pin. Oh, I should have actually done this. Join us live. Call in now. Even though it's not really a call in. So let's pin this. Hey, Beverly, what's going on? There we go. Pin that message up. So as we start getting some people coming in the green room, we'll bring them in one by one, and then we can talk about which teams you like, your favorite moves, all that stuff, because we want to get your opinions here on Even Strength. Now, while we're kind of waiting for that getting brought forward, I would like to let you know tomorrow night we're going to have our first Blue Jay game. Well, it's actually our second. Our second Blue Jay game here live on the channel tomorrow, 7 o'clock start. First pitch, 7:07, something like that. So we will be bringing you some Blue Jays baseball. All right, let's bring in our first person. And you've heard her here on the channel before. Sam, what's going on? Welcome in. Let's bring in, and hopefully this works. I might have to adjust the audio. Jade, how's it going? Welcome. It's going okay. Hang on, I gotta fix the audio here so they can hear you, because I think when I tested this, I was on my other screen. So give me one moment. Will we do this? We do this, a little clickety click. Don't worry, everybody watching along at home. All right, so there we go. Whoops, too many buttons. Publish. Okay, now let's see if they can hear you.
Hey, congrats on the Stanley Cup win, and happy Canada Day to you as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope it's been a little while since we've spoken. So glad to have you
Uh,
back with us.
yeah, I've just been keeping myself busy. Mariners. I know you're coming to town, I think, on Thursday.
Yeah, I you know what I'll be honest. I haven't looked past this series with Houston with Houston, but yeah,
Oh,
it's gonna be
God.
coming up real soon. So how are you feeling about the Seattle Kraken? The Kraken making some moves, making a little bit of a splash. Are you
You know,
happy with what the Kraken have done?
you still being new because I mean, we haven't had hockey in our city for years on end. The Kraken making a lot of changes. When Wenberg left, I'm like, oh God, he's with the Sharks. I'm like, no, I want a little, reunion.
Oh, did we lose you?
No,
No.
I'm still
Oh,
here.
okay. Sorry, you froze for a second on me. Yeah, Wemberg, that was a surprise signing. Obviously, he had a big impact where he was. Um, and listen, going to San Jose is going to be a very, very different team, and I really, really like what they're doing. Seattle, though, making some good moves as well. Do you think the Kraken will be improved? Will they have a better performance than they did last year?
Oh God, don't remind me of last year. Last year was like awful because I hate to admit when because people do say it sometimes, like, oh, our team sucks because because of the record. I hope that they do because last season was god awful.
Yeah. Later, Grinch. Take care. See you, Morgan.
Oh my God.
It was bad. That's for sure. Um,
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm like, I would just say this. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but it's true. Get rid of Decord. I don't like him. I'm more of a Grubauer fan than I am of Decord.
really interesting.
I don't know. I just think he's. I mean, it was a game, and I think me and my friends went to it. It was the Red Wings game. Went into OT, and trying not to curse here, trying to keep it clean. And Decourt stands like this, and he let the puck just go in on purpose. And me and my friends were all like, in the suite, like, are you kidding me? You just let that go in intentionally.
Yeah, it's always frustrating, right? When these things happen, but I think they're going to be improved. I'm excited to see where they go and how they can move forward. And by the way, if you want to join in on the conversation, if you want to share your opinion about a trade that happened or a signing that happened or your team, if you like it, if you don't like it, now's the time. Jump in. We got a few minutes left to go in the show, and then we're going to kind of close things off for the inaugural episode here of Even Strength. So thank you for coming in and being a part of it. Make sure you do, though, hit those thumbs up and, of course, hit those subscribes as well.
Yeah.
Are there any other team? I know you're Seattle all the
Yeah.
way, but are there any other
Well,
teams or any other moves that took place today that kind of surprised you, and you're like, I'd like to see how that particular team is going to do with the changes they made.
I gotta speak on my friend Billy's behalf. Is when they got he's also on San Jose as well. I've talked to a couple of Rangers fans. They have said they're very neutral on Wenberg, but they really wanted to keep Barkley Goodrow or
Yep,
something like.
Goudreau.
They want, yeah, they wanted to keep him.
Goudreau's a
It
good
was like,
player. Goudreau's definitely a
yeah,
good player. I'm curious to see what else the Rangers have up their sleeve. Would be very, very interesting. The Leafs should sign some players from Shorzy. You know, Jordan, it's funny you say that. They're actually doing a cast of Shorzy versus some NHL alumni teams coming up over the next little while. So it's going to be very interesting. Some NHL alumni versus the cast of Shorzy in some exhibition games. There is one that's going to be played in Toronto. I think it's at the Mattamy Center. I'm not sure, but yeah, interesting to see how that's going to play out. All right. Let's see. Anybody else? If you want to join the conversation, the link is pinned above. Give it a click. Come on in and tell us what you like, what you don't like. For me, I really am a fan of some of the moves Toronto made. Again, I'd like to see that forward. I'm not just saying it because they're my team. I'd like to see them kind of really pull something else together, some depth forwards. But I like how they rebuilt the D. I like the Oliver Ekman Larson signing. A lot of people not a fan of that signing, but I am. Tyson, how's it going? Welcome in. Now I know you kind of popped in and out throughout the playoffs. Was there one team in the obviously Florida winning it, but was there a team that you were watching in the playoffs and you were like, "Holy cow, they really surprised me. I didn't expect that from this particular team."
I gotta say too is the Rangers because they really went and swept the Capitals.
Yeah, they were a good
I,
team. They've had a couple really good series, and even the Ranger Panther series. And Tyson is agreeing, saying Rangers. That was a real good series. It was a banger for sure, and a
yeah.
lot of fun.
Then I was also watching. So this is probably my third one. A little bonus is the Oilers, and I think it was just like when it got down to the final four. Process of elimination, and when the Oilers went to the Cup, I looked up their stats, and they had five at the moment. And if they won the Cup, they would have been having six then. But Oilers fans, I was picking you guys to win the Cup. I do feel sorry for you. You did have some problems in the beginning of the season, and you walked up and somehow you turned it around. Like, I don't know, that was crazy.
Yeah, and the Oilers, it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do. Obviously, their general manager kind of announced he's stepping down and moving on.
Oh yeah,
Drysaitel being asked if he's willing to re-sign because he's due for an extension, and they kind of
oh,
came out and he said, "Well, I'm not sure. I got to think about it." Usually when you're a star player on a team and somebody asks you if you're willing to sign, usually is, "Yep, I want to be here. This is the place to be." You say all the good things, all the cliche things. And he didn't have that answer. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with Draisaitl. One big rumor going around is that he was going to end up going to Boston, which would suck if you're in that conference, in that division, like us Leaf fans. But
yeah,
what does that mean to someone like Connor McDavid, who's not going to be far behind him if Draisaitl says, "No, I'm gonna make my way. Thanks, Edmonton. Peace out." Does that mean Connor McDavid is gonna say, "Well, this team is kind of falling apart at the seams. It's time for me to move on elsewhere"?
yeah. Find another team that's actually going to be like good, high rising. But um, then there was another team I wanted to talk about. I don't know if this is true. Is the Bruins are cursed by the President's Trophy?
So that was last year. So Boston kind of New York won it this year. Boston won it last year, and Boston got knocked out in the first round. Definitely seems to be that President's Cup curse that everybody talks about.
Oh,
I tend to say, if you make it past the second round, it's no longer a curse. If you lose in the conference finals, you got beat by a better team. Just because you had the most wins or the most points over the regular season doesn't guarantee you a shot in the finals. So it happened to the Bruins. They got knocked out by the Panthers in the first round last year. Game 7 was awesome. Panthers were just a better team. Rangers
yeah,
getting to the third round, knocked out by the Panthers. It's like the Panthers have the President's Trophy venom, and they're just ready to take out the President's Trophy winners wherever they
I
go.
like I like that word. That I like Venom.
Yeah. Phil says Oilers proved you don't necessarily need a stud goalie to get to the finals. That's right, Phil. Listen, Stuart Skinner is a good goalie. He's definitely not a stud goalie. He is a good goalie, though. He played well. He did a good job. Tyson Allmark definitely misses Swayman. Yeah, it's going to be real interesting. All right. Jade, I'll give you a moment. You want any closing remarks, and then I'm gonna let you go.
Oh, I gotta say is I hope Kraken do better. And don't be like my Huskies, because my Huskies lost to a cheating team. Oh, dogs.
Well,
Third.
we'll see what those Kraken can do, and we'll see how they can what other moves they have up their sleeves. You never
Yeah,
know.
taking that guy from my closing remark is taking the guy from the Golden Knights, Chandler something.
Chandler Stevenson. Yep.
There you go. I mean, I've seen my friend Maggie and Connor, my friends Maggie and Connor have seen that guy play. He's phenomenal. They went to the draft this year because they live in Vegas. They used to live in Oakland, but they're waiting for the A's to come
Nice.
because they used to be down there. But Oakland, not anymore.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Jade, thank you so much. Great talking to you, and we'll talk to you again, I'm sure.
Yes.
All right. Take care.
It doesn't Mariner home games.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah. Bye.
All right. That is our good friend Jade. We're going to kind of do last call. If anybody else wants to get in, the link is in the pinned message up above, but I'll paste it here again if you want to join in. Your video won't be on stream. Your audio will be. If you want to come in and talk about any players or teams, absolutely, you are welcome to do so. Tyson says, do you think Toronto has a chance of winning the cup with the signings and trades? So, Tyson, I'll tell you what. I think they made some decent moves. They definitely got better in the defense department. I'm not 100% sold on their forwards. You could argue, say, Sam, but they have, Matthews and Nylander and Tavares and Marner right now. We've seen what they can do. Yes, they can score lots of goals. In fact, they're always at the top of the goal scoring for the league, but do they, points wise, did they win the President's Cup trophy? No. Did they lose a bunch of stinky games last year? Yes. Were they frustrating to play? Yes. Was a big problem their defense? Yes. Does their defense mean their forwards are going to show up to play hockey? How many games did Mitch Marner disappear where he was non-existent? So I don't know if this is enough to get them over that hump. That's my kind of thought. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, listen, I'm happy they didn't re-sign Samsonov. I don't think he was trustworthy enough. I like Stolarz. Stolarz is a good goaltender. If you had a chance to watch him play for the Panthers, Stolarz is really, really a nice, solid goaltender. So him and Wall are going to push each other a lot. Ben, how's it going? Welcome in. I think they're going to push each other a lot. I think that's going to be real good. But we re-signed Murray. Yes, we did. And I'm still scratching my head on that. I think the Murray signing is kind of that Matt Jones position, the Martin Jones position. I think Murray's going to be sitting in the press box. If one of the goaltenders gets hurt, he's obviously going to come in and back him up. It's so we don't get in a situation where your goaltender gets hurt and now you're stuck with a backup and you have to call up somebody from the Marlies and you're hoping that they can hang on to it. All right, we got somebody else here in the green room. Welcome in, Spaceman. How's it going, Spaceman?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you? You must still be flying high.
Yeah, I'm just celebrating the cup win still down here in Fort Lauderdale.
That's awesome. Did you go to the parade in the pouring rain?
I almost did. I was in one of those buses and suddenly it started raining, and it rained really hard though, and I was almost trapped in a puddle.
Oh my gosh. I felt so horrible. I was kind of watching some of the highlights and the videos that people were posting. And when I saw the rain and I saw how wet people were, first of all, it's typical Florida this time of year, right? You never know.
Yeah, it is.
And
the weather is sometimes weird.
I'm like, the one day it had to rain, it's when the Panthers are celebrating their victory.
It's like the Tampa Bay Lightning were trying to screw things up, but it's kind of funny considering the fact the Bolts and the Panthers are rivals, and I'm starting to think hockey has become a thing down here.
It's been awesome. And Krista, welcome in. Yes, they did re-sign Domi and a whole lot more.
And also, I first thought we were going to lose in Game 7, and I never saw the game at first until I received a call from one of my family members that they won, and I was jumping up and down, and that got me out of bed. I was scared,
It was
and
it was huge. I mean, what a win. It's kind of funny when we watch that series, right? Florida looked so good in the first 3 games, which is why they won. And then they
yeah,
completely
also
disappeared. Like I couldn't figure out how you go from being so good to non-existent in the blink of an eye.
yeah, but this free agency stuff, it's been. I'm not worried concerning the fact that Bill Zito's really good. I give credit to him of what he's done to this team for the past 4 years.
It's impressive. And listen, good thing they got Reinhart locked up, right? If Sam Reinhart
Yeah,
goes and he signs somewhere else, we could be having a very different conversation right now.
yeah.
Um,
I first before the Cats, I used to be an Owls fan before until they got bad and the Panthers became good. But they have 4 cups and this team has 1. And yeah,
yeah. It's unfortunately, couple key Stenlin, Ekman Larson, Lomberg, a couple key Stellars, obviously, a couple key members of that Panther team moving on. But the core is still there. Little Elf, welcome in. Happy
I
Canada
know
Day to one and all.
I don't like the Leafs, but however, you sort of got me into hockey at first when I first saw the Bruins Game 7 series. That was phenomenal. Like last year, I never expected that. Like, and I also give credit to the Leafs for playing so well in like Game 4 to avoid the sweep.
It, it was great. Listen, what Boston did last year, or I guess 2 years ago now, was insane, right? Most points, most wins. Panthers taked in the game 7. One of the most
Yeah.
exciting hockey games we had seen in a long time. This year,
Ah,
again, Boston and Florida back and forth, flipping over each other for second in the conference or in our division the whole season long. Then all of a sudden,
yeah.
Boston taking it to Toronto. Toronto fights their way back, and in game 7 overtime, that could have went either way. And of course, Florida Boston again was
All right.
exceptional. Just such good hockey.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say I appreciate all your hard work you've done, and I understand I may dislike the Leafs, but you're a great hockey channel. I also want to thank you for getting me so much into hockey. It's like I know I never knew much about hockey when I was an Owls fan, but now I started to get more into it, especially now I'm born in Florida and I'm starting to know I'm starting to know a lot about hockey. Like I originally grew up with baseball, but however, hockey is much more fun to watch, in my honest opinion. It's much more fun to watch than American football, and the fact how overrated it is down here. But just keep up your good work. I just want to say thank you so much for streaming all these games. And I understand you like to stream the Leafs a lot, but I just want to thank you so much for also supporting us too.
Oh,
And
thank you
I
so
just want to
much.
say that's a heads up for you. I just want to say I hope you have a wonderful night and take care.
I appreciate that, Spaceman. Thank you so very much for the kind words. And thank you for
No
always
problem.
being around and hopping in when you can. We appreciate it. I'm glad we could help you get more into hockey and enjoying it. I mean, that's
But
what we're here for. That's what we love so much about this game.
yeah, especially it was tough being a Panthers fan, but now it's not tough. The pain has went away after we won the cup. But anyways, hope you have a good one. Hope you have a good one. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Spaceman. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Take care,
You
man.
too.
Bye.
All right, there's Spaceman Dave, resident Panther fan coming in. You see him in the chat. So thank you, Spaceman, for all the kind words. And then welcome in. I saw Primus, welcome in. That was Spaceman joining us. All right, last call. I wanted to try and keep this and wrap it up at 9 o'clock. But again, last call. If you want to come in and join us, say a quick hello. Let us know what you liked about it. There's a pinned message up top. In the pin message, there's a link. You can click on that link, come on in and say hello. We'll just give it another moment, and then we are going to wrap it up. Again, a record-setting day today for free agent frenzy. Over $1 billion in contracts handed out. Absolutely incredible. Overall, the Nashville Predators, they walk away as the big winners, in my opinion. The Washington Capitals not far behind them. Some really, really good moves made on both teams. Sam and structure are two things that don't go together well. Roto errors, it's so true. I try to structure it, right? We try to stay on topic, but it's sometimes the conversation just takes you in a direction, and who am I to say no? Who am I to stop it? But it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, tomorrow, coming up 7 o'clock tomorrow, Blue Jays baseball, Houston Astros, Toronto Blue Jays. God, I hope they don't suck. We're going to be here. We're going to check it out and see what they can do. Happy Canada Day to everybody. Did anyone sign Martin Jones? I did not see him on the list. So we can go back and see. Will it show animations for the redeems? It should. You mean now or tomorrow? Now well, both should. Oh, and by the way, hockey season is over. You know what that means? Bum, bum, bum. Time to reset the points. So for tomorrow's baseball game, all the points will be reset. Sorry to break the news. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but all the points will be reset for the summer months. And then we will reset them one last time before hockey starts again. Oh, there's some pie. Hayden's starting to throw some pies, trying to get the arm warmed up for baseball tomorrow. All right, I'm going to close out the audio. So thank you to Spaceman and Jade for joining in. We will do this again. If you want to join us, we will do it again where we'll open up the call lines. Jockey coming in, hitting that subscribe. Thank you so much. We got a freeze. Episode 1, Even Strength in the books. More hockey chat to come all summer long. Again, we will watch for the news, the rumors. We'll bring you all the action, more special guests. If you want to be a special guest on the show, send me an email, samwelb12. What is it? samwelb12yt at gmail.com. Almost forgot my email address. samwelb12yt at gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know if you want to be a guest on the show, and we can get you scheduled in as Even Strength makes its return to the YouTube airways. I want to thank everybody again for an unbelievable series, season, and everything. Summer's upon us. Baseball is here. CFL football, we got it all. Thanks so much. No, I promise it's all good. Happy to have you. Dan, what's going on? Welcome in. Dan wants to get one last wave. Let's finish off hockey season just that way. Virtual wave. 3, 2, 1. Hey, get those hands up. Get that wave going around. As a Zamboni, it's time to clean the ice and head on out. Thank you, everybody, for an unbelievable season. A great inaugural episode of the 24-25 Even Strength. We'll see you tomorrow. Blue Jays, Astros. Should be a doozy. Good night and take care.